The first ever CO2 guns were designed by Paul Giffard in France in the 1870s. They had a detachable cylinder that was mounted under the barrel and it was bolt filled with carbon dioxide. I'll do a separate video on the history of these one day, but for today we want to show you how to keep these magnificent antique CO2 guns up and running. And Lawrie Amatruda is going to show us how to reseal one. So the way they work is they have a detachable cylinder of CO2 under the barrel. This houses the valve. And when you cock the hammer to shoot it, the hammer hits a pin that will strike the valve and release an amount of carbon dioxide that goes up through this block, through the loading port, and it hits a lead ball bearing and fires it down the barrel. It's very simple, beautifully made, and very easy to maintain if you know how to do it. So, Lawrie Amatruda, the CO2 expert, is going to show us how he does it.
Right, today I'm going to show you how to reseal a Giffard CO2 rifle. First of all, we remove the reservoir. I'm going to put the gun aside. Now, the first thing I do when I'm resealing one of these is put it in this clamp, which is homemade, as you can obviously see. Clamp it in the middle where the knurling is. Just tighten it up by hand to start with, just to get it in position. Now, to actually remove this part, which some people don't know, if it's an 8-sided nut, and if you try to put an ordinary spanner on there, it will round it off. As you can see, some of these are slightly rounded. So what I've got is this. It's an 8-sided inside, but the outside is a normal socket shape. Right, now we've got to fix this in the vise so that we can undo the cap. We must tighten these up round the cylinder. Put that special tool on the Giffard, and then I've got a large socket which fits over the top of that. And now hopefully this will it's tight, so I'm going to use an extra aid, which is a piece of steel tubing. Gives me a lot of leverage. There we go. Once it's loose, it's no problem to undo. I'll take that off. Remove these. I've got the same thing to do the pistols as well. They're exactly the same, but smaller version. There's not much inside these. I've got to tell you that I have already sealed this one, but I'm just going through the process of how to do it. Right, that's the only seal in the gun. Now this is an old one I've taken out of an old, probably this one. And I believe it may have been made of vulcanised rubber, I believe they called it in them days, but it's gone rock hard, and as you can see it breaks. There's a piece that broke off when I was getting it out. It goes like a hard plastic, and if you try to bend it, it just breaks. Anyway, now what I do is take the main parts out of the cylinder. You can see they're very simple. That part goes in first, then the spring on top of it, and then that's the main valve that seals it. And if you notice, there's some wear in there, which is where the hammer has constantly hit on that, and it forms quite a big dimple. Occasionally when I do these, I drill that out and then solder silver solder a piece of brass in there, and then machine it so that it's all nice and domed. Now when I do these, I usually just clean them up because they're usually really black when I get them apart. But as you can see, I've cleaned that one up. And inside these, I've never found one that's been rusty. You get a very light dust of rust occasionally in there. When you try to clean it out, all that comes out is a little bit. And when you look down inside with a torch, you can see it's almost like new. Now we're going to go to the lathe, and I'm going to show you how I make the seal. Luckily enough, this material is made in a 25mm outside diameter, and that fits perfectly inside there. All I have to do is get the thickness right and cut the hole out of the centre and then part it off, and we end up with that. This is polyurethane, by the way. So I'll tighten it up just gently, and I've pre-measured the thickness I need, which is there. So I'm just going to push that in so that it's that thickness, and then I'll tighten this up. It's not a precise measurement, it's just, you know, tighten it up. And this is a cutter I use that I need to, or the only part I need to cut is the internal measurement of a seal. It's slightly smaller than the spigot that it fits on, and that gives you a very good seal. My trusty scalpel, pull it up to the material to get it ready to cut. Now, put some oil over the polyurethane and on the cutter. Now all we do now is start the lathe up, move the cutter into the seal slowly, get more oil on it. There we go. Move that out of the way. Some more on this area. Slowly cut through it. Just do it slowly. There we go. That's the seal made. That's all there is to it. To make the seal, off it comes. You've got a lovely seal. Right, now we've got the seal made. I've made it purposely slightly smaller on the internal diameter, so you can't get it on there by hand, it's too hard. So what I've got is this little tool, it's a tapered tool. I'll put that in there, put the seal on there, slight little drop of oil on it, and I've got this little sleeve, and I put it all in the vise. Line it up nicely and just press it on. There we go. That's all there is to it. Take that out, and there's the seal fitted. Now all we've got to do now is screw that back and assemble the parts that go into the reservoir. We're now going to reassemble the valve. This is what my way of doing it. Just to line it up, I just put a piece of aluminium in the centre of that. Same with the spring. Drop that in there, that's all lined up. And then this is the actual valve. You just drop that on top of the spring. And now we can screw this back together. First of all, put a little drop of oil on the surface and round the thread. I'll do the same in there as well, just put a bit of oil, it's not that necessary. And now we're going to screw that back together, get it started first, and now what I'll do is clamp this back in the vise. Nice and tight. Go back to our tool for the fittings. I can screw it in by hand to start with. When it gets a bit tight, then I'll put my tools back together on it, and then we can tighten it up fully, and hopefully that's the job done. Put these two bits back on the gun. There we go. Now we can just tighten this up. There we go. Just make it nice and tight. That's it. Take the socket off. Special tool. And that's the job done. Now, all we've got to do now is disassemble this clamp. Make sure this is loose enough. There we go. If there's any marks on it, it's usually just aluminium from the tool, and it wipes off quite easily, but it's very rarely you get anything on that part. That's it already to be refilled with CO2. Now I've got a special adapter that I've made, and that's the seal, so I can seal that, put that into there. It doesn't have to be very tight, just hand tight. Just tweak it up a little bit. And this is my quick release tool for filling it up from the fire extinguisher. There we are, put that together. I'm going to remove this clamp from the vise to get it out of the way. Put that aside. I've fitted my bolt fill adapter here and the quick release just hand tight. I've got my fire extinguisher here. I'm going to fill it up with gas and keep my fingers crossed. Make sure the bleed valve's closed. Right, we can open the valve on the fire extinguisher. There we go. It gets very cold in this area when the gas is going in. Now I'll just bleed off what... That's it. Yeah, it's holding. Remove the quick release. Unscrew this. That's a very simple seal that I make up. I don't use O-rings or anything like that. Now this is ready to go back on the gun. So here's the gun. I'm going to screw this back on. It's quite simple. Keep your fingers crossed. Just to make sure it's not loaded, there's no ball in there. Close that. I'm going to fire it downwards. I'm just going to cock it. Pull the trigger. There we go, it's working. Lovely. There's no leaks. Another little thing I'd like to mention. Under this part, there's an adjuster for power. You loosen this off, and then it allows you to, cock it again, to turn this out. So the more you unscrew this part out, the less power you get. Another thing that a lot of people don't know about, under this screw, I'll try and point it out to you, is a little copper pellet. You can't see it because it's all been in there, but in there is a little copper pellet, so that when you screw this up tight, the copper tightens against the thread under here, and once you've adjusted it, that will lock it in place. A lot of people don't know about this part. So that is now loose, but when you tighten this up like that, you can't move that now, because that little copper pellet is pressed against the thread in here. So I'm going to decock it.
What calibre is that?
This is a 177. It's a very popular calibre, and You can get the ammunition quite readily from most gun shops, the little 177 lead balls, and you can shoot it.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, certainly you can, Matt.
Thanks, mate. So there you go. Everything you need to know about how to reseal and refill a Giffard CO2 rifle. Giffard made a wide range of pneumatic airguns, CO2 rifles and pistols, and even CO2 shotguns. And hopefully one day we will be able to do a video on the history of all of them, and even shoot a few of the different types. But for now, special thanks to Lawrie Amatruda, and thanks for watching.